Hello, everyone. Welcome to my channel. I'm, of course, your host, Mega Mike the Movie Man. We have a super fun stream planned for you all tonight. It is the Super Stunt Scene Spectacular. Well, what does that mean exactly? We're going to go over our favorite stunt scenes in movies. We're going to have 5 rounds with an amazing panel group here, and then we'll have honorable mentions at the end. So you want to stick around through the whole video to see all these amazing stunt scenes. I'm going to throw up some pictures with them. We're going to talk about them, and it's just going to be a great time. But before I bring out these amazing panel members, just a couple reminders. If you love movies and stunt scenes, go ahead and crash into that like and subscribe. Just crash right into it. And then, of course, if you want to support the channel on another level, go ahead and explode us with some super chats out there. And then also, if you're interested in picking future topics and getting other exclusive perks like shout outs and additional videos, consider some memberships. Great way to support the channel, and you get a lot for them as well. But let's go ahead and start bringing out this amazing panel. Let's go ahead and bring in Corey. How we doing out there tonight?
I'm doing great, man. How you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. You ready for the stunt scene spectacular?
I'm ready. How can you not get pumped up about stunts in movies? I mean, they're over the top, they're cool, crazy, and it's always something that's a crowd pleaser.
Absolutely. And we got to recognize them because the Oscars don't even do that all the time.
I know. We got to give them some love, right?
Yep. All right, let's go ahead and bring out another super stunt person. We got to have David. How we doing out there, David?
What's up, Mike? I battle rolled right into this place. I am ready to get rolling.
I mean, you got a couple stunt heavy films behind you right there with the posters.
In honor of the Fall Guy and the Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare, I had to put these up because there's some great stunts in these. If it had been any later, these might have been in some of my top 5 stuff.
Man, you came more prepared than me. I just have Howard the Duck behind me, so.
There's some action in Howard the Duck. There's some action.
You know, maybe a stunt scene or two.
Yeah.
Let's check into these comments. Let's see who is joining us today. And then we'll also have one more panel member join us a little bit later, so that's going to be awesome. But, of course, we got Adrian, first place. Hello there, Mike. How are you keeping? I'm keeping it good, keeping it chill tonight. How are you keeping it, Adrian? And then, of course, Corey just everywhere. Awesome.
I can't help it. I can't help it. I got to jump in the chat.
And then we got Tiana Loves Movies, a member of the channel. Hello, Tiana. How you doing out there? And then, of course, we got Hux from Pop Culture Cafe, my favorite Fall Guys. Let's go. So we are the Fall Guys tonight.
All right. I'll take that. I'll take that, Huck. Thanks, man.
I know. Very honored to be a Fall Guy. I always wondered what it would be like to be a stunt person. I'm like, I don't know. Some of these seem very dangerous.
Yeah.
I feel like a trip or something to just, I'd be done after the first stunt.
I have done stunts in some shows, which is kind of like cheap labor for professional wrestlers, where you can actually go and do some minor stunt work. So I was actually in Starship Troopers. I did.
Oh, cool.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I jumped out of a 40-story window. Stuff like that. So I have done some minor stunt work, but it's crazy. It is. There's like, okay, we're gonna have you get hit over the head with a bottle, and that's it. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool.
See, now I was like waking up, getting out of bed the other morning, and I hurt myself just getting out of there. So I figure I can't do stunts, man.
Hey, you're kind of a Fall Guy that way.
I fell getting out of bed. Old guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm not Fall Guy. I'm old guy.
Calf muscle in my sleep last night, so I don't know if I was running or what in my dreams, but I pulled a calf muscle sleeping. So it doesn't happen anymore. The 50s are here for me, so there's no more stunt work.
Well, talk about somebody that can still handle some stunt work out there. We got Dude Who Loves Movies.
There we go.
What's up, guys? How you doing? Sorry I'm late.
It's all right. You're rocking the Megan shirt right there. I love it. Look at that.
Love it, man.
Are you ready for the stunt scene spectacular, Cody? You ready for this one?
I am ready for this. I think my list is a little random and maybe not what people are expecting, but hopefully it's a good one.
I
kind
really
of
liked it though. I was surprised by it. I'm like, man, I didn't get all these other different genres. I really focused on action. But Cody, you came through with it with some horror stuff in there, a good little mixture. I'm like, this is the way to do it. That's awesome. You got it all
Thank you.
covered.
I appreciate that.
Corey, what were you gonna say?
I was going to say, I just wasn't sure about my list either. Like, I didn't know if they were, I know that I didn't go to horror route, that's a great idea. I mean, there are a lot of ones. I wasn't thinking about that, but, yeah, I kind of wondered if I went a little different route on a couple of them too, but all in all, there's a lot of different types of stunts and a lot of cool ones. And it's not just one, you might think of some right off the top of your head, but then we really look into some of these others. I'm like, they're pulling off some stuff where people could have got hurt, but it made for an awesome movie.
And I also think when you talk about stunts, people think about big explosions, car chases, and this and that. But there are some really small stunts out there that can kind of blow your mind if you find out that they are actually stunts, or you don't even really know what kind of work goes into it.
Yeah, if you see actually what they did to pull it off, sometimes it just blows your mind, and you're just like, okay, it was cool, and it might not have seemed like a huge explosion, like you said, but when you look to what they went through and what could have happened to them, I mean, that's pretty impressive. There's so many of them like that.
Yeah.
I mean, Huck said as Chicken Boy, he had to do all his stunts. So.
Chicken Boy, I still need to see that.
Dude,
I still need to see that.
Dude, it is fun. I really enjoyed it.
Let's go, Corey. Watch along.
Do it. Okay. I gotta do one of those.
What the hell?
I'll have Huck doing commentary along with it.
Oh, there we go. That's the way to do it. All right, so let's get into our first round here. Our first favorite stunt scene. So let's see. How are we gonna go this way, Corey? What are you thinking here?
Honestly, and this is not trying to cheat or like take an easy way route. I like all of them, so you're not going to hurt my feelings any one you throw up there in any order. So, I mean, I can pick one if you want me to.
Throw it out there.
So is this supposed to be the best or like the bottom and then work your way up?
Well, we can work our way up. How about
okay. Okay, then how about we do the one with the brown Mercedes, the old Mercedes. Do you see that one? There you go. So we got Ronin. I was throwing Ronin. There's a couple great. Sorry. Before I just start talking, do you want me to go into it at all?
Yeah, get into it.
Okay.
That was just a little tease right there. You're gonna paint the picture now.
Okay, before I just start going, and you're just like, Corey, shut up, come on. No, this was there's a couple great, and I know we were talking about car chase scenes, but there's a couple great ones in this movie. I just grabbed that scene because I always remember that going into the theater, and it's not just one enclosed scene. I mean, it's a long chase and there's many stunts done along the whole thing, and all done practically and at real speeds at a lot of these. And for whatever reason, younger Corey being in the theater watching Ronin, I always remember, and of course it's the stunt double, but when you have De Niro's character come out of that sunroof with the rocket launcher on his shoulder or whatever you want to call it, to try to take out the other car. It just stuck in my mind. And when you watch, so that, and not cheating, but later in the movie too, there's like a huge chase through Paris in there. It's just crazy. Some of the, like you said, you can tell they're going real time and real speed with a lot of these, the stunt drivers going through there, and the close calls, the tight corners, the things they're pulling off. I always was impressed with those. So it might not come off right off the bat. There's not a gigantic, 20-story buildings blowing up and imploding. But man, when you watch that and just realize they're really doing all those things, it blew my mind.
It's crazy when you see real fire in a movie and you're just like,
yeah,
this is refreshing. Going back to the Chicken Boy movie, I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember. Frontier? Yeah, Steel Frontier. So I had a blast with that because everything was so practical, real car explosions. I was like, this is freaking this is amazing. Just because we're so used to really bad CGI fire.
Yeah. And so in that chase, it's what's awesome is like they have real fire when cars are flipping. They have the cars. I remember watching a lot of behind the scenes stuff with it where they have like the pistons built into the bottoms of the cars to like hit the ground and make them do the flip over. I mean, they're really doing that stuff. And it just, I don't know, when you, like you said, when you see that fire, when you see cars really flipping and really hitting the ground and tumbling, you can tell that there's a difference when you see it for real going on.
Oh yeah, that's one of the best car chase scenes of all time, in my opinion. And I'm new to the movie. I saw the movie the first time a year or two ago.
Yeah,
I'm like, what have I been missing? I never even heard of the movie before. And then I heard people talking Ronin. I'm like, what is Ronin? What is this? And I'm this is cool. Robert De Niro in here. I like this.
Like I said,
Ronin,
there's two. Go ahead. No,
I was saying, like, so when I was a kid, I was renting my movies from like it was a Fry's grocery store. It's like a Kroger, other places and stuff like that. And I remember they always they had like the Ronin poster up, Ants poster, and then Bride of Chucky. So I always remember the Ronin poster like vividly.
Yeah. Well, and I know it doesn't hit for everybody. For some reason, I went with a bunch of buddies. We were younger at the time, and a couple of guys got bored because they were like, how long are these chase scenes? Because they do go on for a while. But I think that's what's so impressive about them is it's not just like, oh, we did a couple little little swerves around a corner. I mean, they choreographed this over a long distance sometimes through very tight in city streets and stuff like that. It just, I don't know. It blows me away. And I still love it today. I'll just go and watch there's sometimes I don't have enough time to watch the whole movie. I'll just go in and watch a couple of those chase scenes just because I think it's cool, and I'll just sit back and, enjoy it for a while.
David, you a fan of Ronin?
Yeah, I like that movie. I've got the Kino 4K up there. And yeah, great long shot scenes. Love the stunt work in that. Jean Reno's awesome. De Niro's cool. Sean Bean's always kind of a jerk. And just about any movie where he dies in, which is a lot. So yeah, Ronin, I really enjoy that movie. And that was actually on a short pile of alternates that I wanted to talk about too. So I'm glad you brought it up, Corey.
All right.
You're welcome, David. No, I was kidding.
All right. Well, David, take it away. What do you got for
Take it away. So and again, with the long shots, London Has Fallen has a great long shot. I considered that one. I ended up going with one that it's been a lot of buzz last year on it because it's like this Mondo stunt that everybody was looking at. And it was like in the first 6 minutes of the movie. So I am going to go my first offering with Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1. And that cliff scene with the motorcycle where he flies off of there. And in this, there's special features on how he did the stunt, how many times he practiced it, and that they wanted to just get it done right off the bat. And it's a beautifully shot scene with a great stunt in it. And, I still think Tom Cruise is trying to die on camera because I know his plan is for the next one or something in the future, he's going to be on the International Space Station. And actually be in space. So
that's all they had left.
That's all that's left. They did Fast and the Furious in space. They might as well do Mission Impossible in space.
When you're rich and can do anything, it just takes another level each time to get your excitement up, Yeah. So he's a maniac with those, but they're awesome. And that was one I was thinking about too. But that just the scenery alone is beautiful. But when they do that's a great one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish they didn't show that scene for the marketing because they kept showing it, and I'm like, if they just had that in the movie, I would have been.
It would have been so good, but I came to expect it. It did deliver. I got what I wanted out of it, but yeah, it would have been great if they hadn't have just hyped that stunt up so much before the release.
Dude, do you like that one?
Never seen it.
Oh. Yeah. You've seen the other Mission Impossibles, yes?
No, I've seen up to 3 or 4, and then I just kind of stopped.
3's the best. Yeah. I love 3. 3 is great.
You tapped out after 3.
Yeah, and then I just lost count, and I was like, a new one would come up. I was like, dang, well, I can't go see that because I haven't seen the other ones. And then I just never got. I have nothing against him. I'm sure I'd enjoy him, but I just haven't. Sometimes I just get too far behind, and I'm just like, screw it.
So many movies, so little time.
Yeah.
There's so many movies that you haven't seen that you want to see.
Especially with a franchise like that. Massive franchise. So. All right. Well, dude, what are you thinking for yours?
So number 5, let's do some Patrick Swayze. I'm going to do Point Break when he when he's skydiving. So he wanted to do his own stunts. and he wanted to skydive himself because he was his own sky. You know, he done enough jumps that he can do it himself, and they wouldn't let him. So that was the very last shot of the scene or the very last scene that they shot of the movie was him doing that stunt. So I'm glad he got to do it, and that was back when Tom Cruise wasn't doing that stuff. So,
awesome.
that's my
Yeah.
yeah.
I haven't seen that movie yet. I need to see that one.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's one I'm missing. Totally.
yeah.
That's
blind
really
spot.
good.
You can't beat. You got some of the Chili Peppers in there being bad guys in part of the movie too. So that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Be like, hey, there's Anthony. There's Flea.
Yeah, you got
Do you like Fast and the Furious, Mike?
Oh yeah, I like Fast and the Furious.
So it's kind of like Fast and the Furious, but Fast and the Furious just without like cars and stuff. It's kind of the same plot.
And there's who else is in that? Keanu, right? Am I thinking of
Keanu.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Busey.
Gary Busey.
Gary Busey.
Yep.
Lori Petty.
Yep.
Lori Petty.
They were great. That's a great time. For that time frame, that was a great action movie. Yeah. It was a really good one. But yeah, you're right. That like at that time, that was probably kind of crazy to let a big star just even jump out of a plane, go parachuting out on film, just in case something happened or anything like that.
Yeah,
so that was
probably
a pretty big deal at the time to let him do that.
Man, they needed some insurance for that one.
I'm sure.
Yeah, and that's why they're like, all right, this is going to be the last shot of the movie. We're going to film the whole movie. This is the last shot.
Make sure they have everything else in the can before he jumps out of the plane.
Yeah.
We got everything ready just in case you die.
Yep. Not saying, but just saying.
We want to have the rest of it. But we want to be safe.
Yep.
Because we all know we remember what happened in The Crow. And we don't want to have something like that happen. And may them both rest, Patrick and Brandon Lee. Both, a lot of them did a lot of their own work stunt wise, and that didn't happen in the 90s. They were like, no, if your last name was Schwarzenegger or Stallone, you got a stunt guy. They'd go over there and somebody else is going to do your stunt. No, everybody's going to know that it's not you, but we're going to pretend that it's you.
But if they get hurt, you can keep on filming the rest of the film and you can get another stunt person to jump in. But if the star gets hurt, then
just like Colt Seaver.
Oh yeah. All right.
I haven't seen the movie yet.
Nope. Did you see the original series?
Yes, I did. I used to have a truck as a kid. I had that two-tone brown Chevy truck. I used to play with that all the time, man.
Yeah.
All right. Well, speaking of trucks, going to my favorite action movie of all time. How can you not talk? Some Terminator 2
nice.
with the giant truck into the wash, chasing after on the dirt bike. I mean, how great is this scene? All practical too, just makes it super thrilling. And then you get to all the fire effects at the end and the liquid metal guy. It's great. I love it.
Mm-hmm. That almost made my list, was that scene.
I would agree. That's awesome. That whole run down that aqueduct or whatever that is, that waterway. It's just there's so many parts of that are awesome between what they're doing with the motorcycle or the semi down through there.
It's funny. There's not a wash that goes by where I don't think about that movie. or if I'm at a mall and I see the back stores, I always think of that movie.
And you start hearing Guns N' Roses playing in the back of your head, and you could be mine.
Yeah, I'm carrying on roses.
Yeah, exactly.
And I was shocked that was all practical and they actually did that. I'm like, that's wildly dangerous. Like anything could happen there.
Yeah.
It was a hell of a time.
But you can tell it's real too, because now thinking back at it, because that's one that I was thinking about too. But because they ramped that Harley off down into it, and you can see it just bottom out and just bounce around. And then the semi, when it comes down through, there's a couple times where it hits hard and you see like the bumper kind of tear away. And it's so much better when it's the real thing and it's going, and you can tell when they're really doing it.
Absolutely. All right, jumping back into the comments here. We got Eli Cortez joining in, loving Point Break.
That's a great movie.
And then Tiana is saying Ghost Protocol is so good. That is a good one. It's tough to choose a favorite for Mission Impossible.
Yeah, I agree with that. And even a favorite stunt. You got the building scene.
Don't talk too much more, David.
I'm trying to get Cody back into.
I already know all the scenes.
You may or may not hear that movie come up later.
Corey,
I need to call spoiler alert for you, Corey. I'm sorry.
Since we're on that, okay, let's go to
you just throw that one out there since we're already talking about it.
Corey is going here with
I didn't say anything. There you go.
There you go.
So what do you like about this one, Corey?
Oh, that whole scene was so cool. And like we were talking about earlier, Tom Cruise is a maniac. That he would, I just think that he's just so rich and crazy that he's just got to do more over the top stuff in his films to like get excited. And he's doing those things. And when you watch the behind the scenes making of that building in Dubai, or where, it's super, I don't even know how many stories that thing is, but he is so far off the ground. They did have a safety cable on him for it, and they digitally got.
I'm like, no way! Is he just like freehanding this? No way!
They did have a safety cable on him that they took out with the post production, but I don't care if you have a safety cable on you. You're that far up and flipping around and like swinging between the buildings. That's still got to be just crazy, but. You could tell it was real. And there was like a scene too. I couldn't get a good picture of it. But there's one where he's running out of time and he's like sprinting down the building on that rope. And they have a shot where they have the camera just attached to the building. And he's running at it and he does kind of a leap over it and it kind of does a turn and follows him. Then you're behind him going down. And like, it was just, I don't know. It was a cool scene to capture like that. So, like you said, talking about insurance on movies, I don't know what they have to like take out for Mission Impossible movies to be able to go into a huge public area like that on a huge, gigantic building like that and have, even with safety lines attached to him, be swinging around like 80 stories above the ground, whatever. I don't know. I'm just throwing a number out, but that thing was way up there.
I didn't even know that was completely a real building, because sometimes when they do stunt stuff, they'll do a part of a building and then they progress in. But wow, oh my goodness.
Yep, they had him going there.
I feel like around that time they were doing a lot of stunts around that building. Like I feel like in movie, like in Fast and Furious, it showed up. Like it kept like coming up in movies.
I think it actually was some marketing for the area as well, because it's a very financially rich area, and I think they were trying to draw a lot of attention to like, this is a destination for certain people to come visit, and they were just look at the spectacle that we've built out here, and to come and see it. So I agree with you. You saw it popping up a lot in different, but then you get a building that big, it's kind of hard not to have it stand out. So if you're going to throw it in a Mission Impossible building or a movie or, something like that, it definitely stands out. So you saw a lot of it there for a while.
Yeah, Scottish Geek Guy saying that building stunt scene today is high on my list. Seeing that on IMAX, I got vertigo. I can only imagine that on IMAX. Oh my goodness.
There's, like I said, there's some shots where they're following him doing a swing across the buildings. Or like I said, that one where he's running down and they have the camera, he's running towards the camera and he like does a leap over it and it turns. And you just see, I don't care if you have cables attached to you, when you leap over that and there's, I don't know how many stories. He was so far up off the ground. That's still got to make your stomach leap a little bit when you go do that.
I'd pass out and just be hanging from
the... They just have a picture of me that's like, that's a cut.
Swing right through the window.
Yep.
Sorry. Turtle poked his head out. I cut it off.
Yeah, take the next step. But no, that one I always thought was cool. I always like going back and watching that one.
All right, David, what are you thinking?
Well, with stunts, I kind of swung, no pun intended, Corey. I swung to stunts that are actually performed by humans with no extra stuff, right? So the human did the stunt themselves. And one of the greatest things that I like in stunts is fight choreography. So my second pick is the movie Ip Man from Donnie Yen, where he fights 10 people at once And the fight choreography in here, done by Donnie Yen, was miraculous. It looked so real. The fights were so epic. He was breaking bones and dislocating shoulders, punching a dude in the face 50 times. And, you know, I was looking at it going, I can't tell if he's actually hitting him or not. Great movie. It's my third favorite martial arts movie of all time. And that's one of my favorite stunts in this picture. But it's all about the fight choreography in here that really made this for me.
That's a great movie. I love that one.
Man, I need to see that whole franchise.
Yeah.
I've not seen
You do.
And yeah.
You do. Except
So
the one with Mike Tyson. You know, but no, the franchise is really good. 1 and 2 are really good. And then 3 and 4 kind of drift. And then there's some offshoots like Master Z, which is really good. And some stuff like that. And then just watch out for there's a series that's really good. You know, there's one with a different guy where he's an old man, Ip Man, doing stuff. That was pretty good. And even like a younger one. So there's like a whole bunch of different like spin-offs of the franchise to watch. It's really good.
It's
That
amazing.
fighting choreography. Look at that.
Oh, I was going to say that
wild right there.
how they coordinate that whole thing is amazing because they have it all planned out, but it's just nuts that they can, because it's a long fight scene too.
You see how fast the hands are moving too?
Mhm.
Like they can't even get a still shot right there. Wow. And you
and
said he was
that's
actually
okay.
breaking bones and all that?
Yeah, you could see he like pop someone's shoulder out as he's rolling through, and you could see the arm go blink. And I'm going, dang.
Man, hopefully they got paid well for that. They're like, oh, I'm going to be an extra in this fight movie, right?
There was
They really don't get paid that much.
No, but there was probably some paperwork they were signing their name on, you know, to be like, yes, I will not hold you liable.
No, it's not your fault. But yeah, no, it's an amazing movie. The first one is the best of the bunch, and it is just an epic martial arts film.
Yeah, Scottish Geek Guy saying it's phenomenal. Huck is loving it too. Wow. And that end scene, the bicycle punches, brutal. There you go. Yeah.
Like that 50 punches to the face, just and then that at the end. But
that's a good one.
Great fight scenes.
Man, I gotta check these out. Like martial arts movies are movies I don't have that many in my collection. I haven't seen many, so that's an area I need to really tackle.
It's a quick drive to my house, Mike. I'll let you borrow whatever.
Actually, it is a pretty quick drive, actually.
There's gonna be a movie night.
Yeah. Movie night, yeah.
All right, Cody, what are you thinking?
So in my number 4, I'm gonna do the hover jump from Rumble in the Bronx with Jackie Chan. So so what's cool about this is, you know, he had to do it, but he like broke his ankle doing it, or broke his foot. So they had to end up matching a cast to match his foot or to match his shoe. Then he kept doing the jump with that. And it's just crazy. Like, have you ever seen the movie? If you watch the behind the scenes, they explain, or not behind the scenes. If you watch the credits, you know, when Jackie Chan movies, they always show the cool credits of him messing up and stuff, and they show what he has to do. It's like, man, and this guy was still doing it in a cast. So I always think about that when someone brings up stunts. I always think about that stunt. I always think about Jackie Chan because when I was a kid, I used to love watching his movies. Well, I still do, watching his movies. But one of my favorite parts was watching the credits where they show him doing his mess ups and what he was doing. It's like, man, you know, those are some gnarly stuff going on. But Rumble in the Bronx is a movie I've, you know, my whole list. All of us probably could have did a whole episode of Jackie Chan stunts. But that's my favorite movie of his is Rumble in the Bronx. This movie I grew up watching.
I wonder if they did that scene towards the end of the movie or the beginning. They're like, now you gotta cast the rest of the movie.
I honestly don't remember, but he does all of his own stunts, so who knows?
He did some scenes after that. It wasn't the end.
Oh no, yeah.
Yeah, he did that jump, and he did some scenes with that broken ankle where he was running on that thing.
Yeah,
crazy. That dude's amazing. Yeah. That's a great pick, Cody. That was on my short list too, and I was like, man, I got to pick a Jackie Chan. And it was really like 3 or 4 that I was like, I want to just have this as my group because he does just some amazing stunts. So I went with one myself from, and I went a little older than that, but I mean, Super Cop and I just some great stunts that he does just all throughout his career.
Well, one of his I almost picked his other stunt where he's falling down the building and lands on the back of his head. Like that is that's probably his craziest stunt. But Rumble in the Bronx is something that I watched all the time, so I wanted to go, support that movie.
I was going to say, I may or may not have him showing up sometime later here.
So
he's just awesome. It's like, it's hard. How can you not talk about stunts and not have his name come up?
Dude, he's got to have the worst arthritis. Like when it rains outside, he's got to be like,
a storm's coming. My knees are aching.
He's still going. He still wants to do that Karate Kid movie again and all that.
He's on my Mount Rushmore of action stars. For sure.
Yeah, he's awesome.
Heck yeah.
All right. Next up, I guess giving Tom Cruise even more love here, at least from his movie. We got to have a Top Gun Maverick scene right here with the Cobra maneuver with the jet flying in between the other two jets. I guess just to throw off the trainees a little bit. I love that moment. You're like, oh, where is he? Where is he? And it just flies in between. What the heck was that? What's going on?
Yep.
Oh, gosh. I mean, just that whole filming there with all the jets being in the cockpits and just seeing that so realistic. Ooh, that just made Maverick on a whole nother level. Like the first Top Gun's good, but Maverick just getting really in there with all the stuff. Oh my gosh, it changed everything for me. I'm like, I love this movie. Best movie of the year. So good. You guys, Maverick fans, I'm sure.
Oh yeah.
That's somebody that's not a Maverick fan.
Yeah, no, it's fun. It's so much fun. But
so good.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I'll say it had no right being as good as it was. Like
but thank goodness it was.
I know, even after the hype, because sometimes after I hear a lot of hype, I'm just like, okay. But I was like, wow, this was a great freaking movie.
Lived up to the hype that time.
And especially out of the time we were coming out of, the theater owners were probably like, thank you, Maverick, because people were getting in seats again. People were coming back out and paying for a ticket and sitting down in a seat and watching it on the big screen. A lot of people.
He was in theaters for a long time.
Which is nice because
wasn't it? Like it was maybe even a year or so because
it was a long time.
Oh my gosh, this movie.
Yeah, they re-released it like 6 months later or 8 months later.
Which is nice.
If it's still selling, keep going, man.
Still making money. Yeah, that's why Tom Cruise delayed the release like a year so that it let COVID die down a little bit, and then because he wanted it in the theater, it wouldn't have done as well.
Paramount was like, "No, we wanted our streaming." And Tom Cruise was like, "No,
no." That was the story. That was the big fight because they were
seats.
Yeah, that was the big fight that they wanted to drop it on Paramount Plus on the streaming service and have it straight to that. And he's like, "No, I made a film that goes into a theater." Yeah. You can have the streaming later, but it's going in a theater.
He probably saved a lot of theaters that way. Like,
I'm sure.
Way more theaters out than already were from that time. So.
Yeah.
And I couldn't even imagine watching that on a smaller screen for the first time. After I saw it for the first time, then I can watch it on any screen. But at the first time, you had to see it on the big screen.
Yeah.
With an audience.
I mean, with a good sound system in there.
Sound system.
Well, even hearing, even hearing Danger Zone, in a theater, you're you get goosebumps, you're just
yeah.
But that's what's cool about that movie though, too. I think what it did so well, it pulled on a little of the nostalgia for some of us that saw the original, originally when it came out. And then some people that didn't know anything about the original, but the story still pulled them in and got them out there. And it was just fun action. I don't know. It hit on a lot of different cylinders and did such a good job, but it entertained us. That's what it's supposed to do. Right. And
all right, we got Huck in here saying, yes, Cody, Rumble in the Bronx, one of my favorite Jackie Chan movies. The fight with the bad guy hangout is also stunning.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Hard Copy Blues. Love the post-film bloopers with some of Jackie's first U.S. hits. Rumble in the Bronx is fire.
How many times do you cringe though when you're watching those bloopers? I remember watching the end of those, and he hits something that he's supposed to go underneath, and you just see him buckling over, and you're just like, "Oh, Jackie, come on, man!"
Right up for another take, he's just ready. He just does it.
Well, yeah. Like he says at the ladder. I can't remember if that's Rumble in the Bronx or if that's First Strike. First Strike.
I thought it was First Strike.
That's wild.
He threw a ladder in a bunch. Operation Condor, he did. And I'm sure First Strike he did. But yeah, in Rumble in the Bronx, he was jumping through that shopping cart
Mm-hmm.
and doing all this
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
with the
yeah,
shopping
yeah.
cart when he was taking on that gang. But yeah, he always uses props, and that's what sets him apart from any other martial arts actor. He uses the props to their fullest.
Man, diving through a ladder, I can only imagine.
Yeah.
I'm like, I was freaking out when I saw a ladder on the freeway today. Imagine somebody diving through a ladder.
Well, yeah, I mean, look at Rush Hour. He tried to jump into the ticket booth.
Yeah. I always
Oh,
think
yeah,
about
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
And that blooper always sticks in my mind because he goes dunk
Yeah.
Yeah.
and falls back
And
down.
then
And he's like,
And then they
and
cut
he's
show him do it again.
okay.
And they keep,
And
yeah.
he goes,
This is a good one too.
Drunken
Oh
Master.
yeah.
Drunken Master's amazing.
Mhm.
I have a really old one called The Master with Cracked Fingers, like 70s. He's still good, but they were trying to make him Bruce Lee, and he just couldn't fit that mold. But
He
you
found
could
his
see
own
some
thing.
of his comedy. Yeah, you see some of his own comedy come out, and then later on was when he actually got traction. And man,
Corey, have you gotten to any of those Rush Hour movies yet? Because I know you picked up that trilogy set, right?
Yes, I did. So I have seen the first two before, but it's been years and years ago. But I was on a stream and it was brought up again, and they were like, "I love the first, but man, that second, man, that was just so awesome." And I was like, "I haven't seen those forever." And so yeah, I went out after that stream. This is a bad thing about doing live streams. I don't know how many times I go out and start ordering movies after alarm.
Yeah.
I'm like, as we're talking, I'm putting things in my shopping cart, and
my wife took my credit cards away. So
yeah.
Wipe you off, David. Like, no more for you.
I probably should. I had it sitting around here somewhere, but yeah, I got the trilogy, and I know the third. I had never seen the third, and I know it's not that great, but for the price I paid for it, it was worth it, even if I just got the first two.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to watch those again. It's been a long time.
And the artwork on that set is really, really nice too. Like, even when you open it up, it looks very cool.
I wish I could. Man, it's around here somewhere. I got stacks of movies right here. You can't see it.
Like stacks everywhere. All right, so let's go to now number three. All right, Corey, what are you thinking?
All right, so we did that one. I'm gonna go back then. Oh, that broke up a little. So let's go with the red car. I know I did a couple pictures, but yep, there you go. We got Baby Driver. So I know maybe I'm cheating. I'm going back to the practical. And this is one I almost put in was Bullet. So Steve McQueen and Bullet, that race through San Francisco with the Mustang and the Dodge Challenger. Ever since I saw that, like younger, I just have a thing for real car chases through cities. And I thought Baby Driver was one of those that kind of brought that back, where they were pulling off some. And I know it's not the, like we were saying earlier, Cody, like not the huge explosions that you think about, but they're going real speeds through tight turns and corners and there's one scene in particular. So at the very beginning, I don't think it's giving anything away because they kind of show it a lot a getaway from a bank robbery. And there's one scene where they're trying to get away from the cops. They're going down through some alleyways and they throw on the e-brake, do a 180 to go backwards to spin around to work away around a dump truck that's coming out through an alley. And then they break it again and bring it another 180 to bring it back forward and keep on going through. And maybe nowadays some people will look at that and be like, okay, yeah, they did a little spinny, but I mean, like to pull that off in the tightest spot that they had, it was cool. And so another long shot, another long scene, a lot of racing through the city, but there's so many parts of that I just have fun watching. I can go back and just like, maybe I'm weird. I don't know if anybody else ever does this, but I have some like scenes of movies where I'm like, I can't watch a whole movie, but I'll watch part of it. And that's like one I'll throw in the beginning of Baby Driver and just watch that opening sequence of the bank robbery and that getaway and be like, okay, I'm good. I can go to bed now.
Yeah. I do that with a couple fight scenes. So.
Yeah. You can do that fight scenes. Yeah. Something just like, it's really cool. And you have a fun time with it. And
yeah.
You never seen it, Mike?
No, I haven't seen it in a while. I watched it one time, but it's been a long, long time.
Yeah.
But I remember the driving being great and also a great soundtrack, right? Because isn't he listening?
Oh, yeah. Yep. A lot of great music through that movie.
Oh yeah.
What were you gonna
thinking
say,
we're
Cody,
talking
about Bullet?
I was thinking, yeah. I was thinking your pick was Bullet for some reason. Here I am thinking about Bullet.
No, I know I talked about that way too much probably.
That is one I do need to
No.
see. I have it over there.
I almost put that in there. That could be an honorable mention for me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So I've never seen Baby Driver, but Bullet. I went to film school and we had to study that scene. Like it was like one of the first. Cool. It was like we watched it, we dissected it, we had to learn how they shot it and everything. So it's a scene that's like high up there in my love for stunts.
I almost put that.
Is that the San Francisco one?
Yes. Yep. Okay. San Francisco, and they McQueen has that like dark green Mustang fastback, and the bad guy's got the Dodge Challenger, and but this I thought Baby Driver was like a throwback to that, to long shot scene through the city, racing around and all practically done at full speeds. Because like in Bullet, you can see it. I mean, they're bottoming out, and you can see things fly off a car or something, and no, it's a great race. Chase scene, I guess I should say, through the city.
Man, I want to watch Bullet now. I'm like,
there's
I should have put that on my list.
Well, and you know what's cool is like I don't know on the Blu-ray, but there's a special edition DVD that has it's a 2 disc, and on the second disc they have Robert Rodriguez's One Man Film School documentary on it, and it's one of my favorite documentaries. It's basically him, like they follow him writing, directing, and editing his movie in Mexico for not El Diablo, El Mariachi, or no, is it Desperado? No, it's El Mariachi, the first one. They show him. It's really good. But yeah, it's on the special edition 2-disc DVD. It's probably out there somewhere cheap.
I'm going to look that up. I'm writing it down right now.
Yeah. That's nothing, because after we did the whole Bullet thing in film school, they're like, now let's watch this DVD. and we watched the film, the One Man Film School. It's such a great documentary.
So that's where I love those. So that was like an old one I remember growing up and watching and loved. And so like when I talked about Ronin earlier and then now Baby Driver, I felt like those were movies that were like they're almost throwbacks a little bit. Like there's not huge explosions and like CGI or anything. It's just put a stunt driver in a car and go really fast and do some crazy stuff through town, through a busy city. And
I mean, San Francisco streets are wild. That just all the slopes with it.
Oh,
so I can really imagine just going.
They do some of those jumps, and you can tell that the cars just like bottom out when they hit. And
there used to be a video game called Driver 2, and I remember loving driving through San Francisco in that game. But and you don't even think about like with these car chase scenes, like even the other cars on the other side, like the normal cars, those are all stunt drivers, and they were all timed to the T to make sure everybody is safe. It's crazy.
Well, in both of those, like you said, you might think it's like everybody's a stunt driver in that situation, and then especially you got those scenes where it doesn't seem like that big of a deal right off the bat, but like then they go the wrong way on a up a off ramp, and they're going right into traffic, and they're swerving in between those. I mean, they're not going 5 miles an hour when they're doing that, and everybody that's coming at you, they're all working together and all have it coordinated. And like, this is what we got to do to come away from this and make a great scene and nobody get hurt, and it's cool to see it get pulled off.
And I've done stunt work before, and I did I've done only one car scene, and it was for a pilot for FX that never even went on TV. I can't even remember what it was called. And all I had to do was like, I was a front car in like this, like it was like up, it was maybe like 20 cars, and we're just driving, it turns green and we all drive forward, and then they do the scene running through traffic, and then we stop and we back up. It was one, like I hated it. I was like, I'm never doing car stunt work again, because I hated backing up like a football field. Like I was like, man, this sucks, man. I can't even imagine doing.
Like you do it again.
Yeah. So I was like one of the normal drivers, just all right, let's go.
I want to do the cool stuff. Come on. Yeah.
David, you a fan of those movies? Baby Driver, Bullet?
Oh yeah, Baby Driver almost made my list for the same scene. It's a beautiful stunt with the car, and I was like, man, I'd want to put this in there, but I kind of ended up going back to the guys doing the stunts and the human element, which always surprised me. So I'm just going to go right in with my next one, if that's okay.
Yeah, go for it.
and that's I gave you 2 pictures of this one, Mike, because I really couldn't decide which one I wanted. This is 2003's Ong Bak, the Thai Warrior,
Yes.
and Tony Jaa does these miraculous things inside this movie. And basically what they did was they said, okay, we're going to put 4 cameras on you. You go ahead and do the stunt once, and then we'll replay it 4 times. And that's what they did in the movie. But it was all, there were no cables. It was all practical effects. You know, the guys that were falling out of the tree, they just put mattresses under the sand and let them just hit the ground. Otherwise, yeah, there no cables holding him back, nothing lifting him up, nothing like that. He slid under a car, jumped through a window. There's another one that I get sent where he went through 2 panes of glass, doing a cartwheel through that and not touching it. But again, they have multiple cameras on it, so they get the stunt right, so they can film it, they can show it multiple times during the movie. But yeah, I was like, well, you know, look at this, kind of a mini Jackie Chan going. Doesn't use props as well as Jackie ever did, but his athleticism is what made his stunts work so well. So yeah, this is my 3rd pick.
Yeah, man, Tony Jaa is no one to mess with.
No,
He's a bad man. Like that's why it's like, you know, like him and a Jet Li. It's like, you know, like take the whole cast of the Expendables, see who comes out on top. It's gonna be Jet Li, you know, because he's just
he's so fast.
Mhm.
Jet Li is so fast. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, I've met guys who were fast. I mean, this in pro wrestling, but Jet Li just snatch stuff out of their hand and they wouldn't even know it.
Oh yeah.
I've never seen anybody faster than Jet Li.
Man, I need to see some of these movies. I'm like, I haven't seen this one either.
You got
you got a watch list going.
So
I like the second one better because there's more martial arts going, different types of martial arts, but all 3 of these are really good.
And I always get Ong Bak and Ip Man always confused. Which one was Bruce Lee's trainer?
Ip Man.
Ip Man was Bruce Lee's trainer.
Ip Man. Yep.
Okay.
All right, Cody, what do you think?
This one I'm going to do a cliffhang, and that's going to be with Macaulay Culkin and Elijah Wood in The Good Son.
Good Son.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So these are like 8-year-old or the 10-year-old kids really hanging from the side of a mountain. You would not do that nowadays with little kids hanging. So they had to rig them up, stuff like that. I think that's a tremendous scene, especially to put all that emotion and dangle these little kids over this huge cliff with huge risks. You know, I know Tom Cruise does it, but imagine putting 2 10-year-olds in that situation. And it's crazy. And there's on the DVD, there's a cool, or maybe it's the Blu-ray, one of the Blu-rays that came out a few years ago on it. There's a cool behind the scenes documentary on how they did that scene. And it's like a movie that I grew up loving too. So,
and that's one of those shots you can tell when it's real.
Oh, exactly. Yeah.
And not just like a green screen or a CGI, or, you know, like you can tell they're for real hanging there.
There's real risk, you know, so you sit there like, oh my goodness, you know, and like you said, you can tell, and it just, you as an audience member appreciate it a lot more, or feel it a lot more too.
Absolutely.
That's an awesome movie too. A nice like thriller horror right there.
Yeah.
Gosh, Macaulay Culkin is so terrifying in that one. You're
I
like,
know.
oh kid, what is he doing?
I know.
This is not what I remember.
Yeah.
Such a change from Home Alone, right?
Oh yeah, man.
He's being mean in Home Alone, but in a nice way, you know.
Yeah.
He seems so lovable, but yeah, you go to that one and he's like, ooh. That's a good one. I like that. Like you said, I know, Mike, you were saying Cody had some different
random
ones that you were thinking of. No,
yeah.
that's awesome. That's awesome though. I love that. That's a great one.
All right, I'm gonna go with a recent one here. One of my favorite movies of the past year, and you got to go with John Wick Chapter 4 at the Arch of Triumph. We were just talking about stunt drivers, and all these cars going by are stunt drivers, and just for them to not hit somebody, just don't hit Keanu. Like, could you imagine that pressure? Like, don't hit the star of this movie right here. You hit the star here, this movie is done. Nobody's
getting paid.
Exactly. and they're going extremely fast just around that in a circle, and there's so many of them, and they're doing that fighting and the action choreography all within that. Like, how do you not mess up there? I'm like, it only takes 1 second for someone to mess up that whole momentum with that scene. Oh my gosh, John Wick movies, so many great stunts. I could have gone with another John Wick movie too, but John Wick 4 just had so many great stunts in there.
When you said that location, I was waiting for you to say Chevy Chase trying to get out of there when, during European vacation when they couldn't. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry.
But you think about it, that was probably crazy stuff too. Yeah,
yeah.
You know, a lot went into that, man.
That is a crazy roundabout. Like, they are all over the place. So even when you don't have somebody standing out there, like you said, like John, like Keanu Reeves standing out there, I think you're still taking your life in your own hands when you go around that thing.
All the roundabouts, yep. All right. You guys big John Wick fans out there?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I like John Wick, yeah.
Yeah.
I actually haven't seen 4 yet.
I have not either, but I own it. It's back there, but I have not watched it either.
Dude, it's one of those things where it's like if I miss it in theaters, it takes me a while to see it, and then it's like things only last in theaters for 3 weeks. So if I don't see it opening weekend, it's gone.
It's gone. You don't have a chance.
Yeah. So if I miss it in the theater and the movie's pushing 3 hours, it falls back. It just seems like a lot of times I end up my time to be able to watch a movie is late at night, and then I'm just like, I wouldn't mind it being south of 2 hours,
An hour and a half movie would be great right now.
That's what happens to me. I put in like a 90s movie, that's like 80 minutes long.
Exactly.
It's bad or something,
Yep, exactly. But no, I bought it right away, but I am embarrassed to say I still need to watch it.
Yeah,
I know I will like it. I like the first 3, so.
But yeah, that's one where you just gotta split it up over a couple nights.
Probably.
Yeah, trying to stay awake to get through that whole thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a great franchise. I actually like number 3 probably the best. Like the scenes in there are outrageous. Oh my goodness! Damn.
I almost picked 3 as one of mine, Mike, and it's got one of the greatest night fight scenes than I've ever seen in movies. There's Man from Nowhere, Hunted with Tommy Lee Jones, and then this one. But some great knife fighting in this, and that was almost one of my picks.
All right, let's see who we got in here. Scottish Geek Guy saying Mad Max 2, The Road Warrior, some epic non-CGR car stunts.
That's a good pick too, but I almost threw in Fury Road. There's a lot of stuff with that is all practical. That's pretty cool that they did.
And Furiosa's coming up.
I know.
Man, it looks like there's some CGI in that one though.
Oh, probably.
Yeah, like it looks a little different to me.
Yeah. Got Jerry in here, of course.
What's up, Jerry?
Hey, Jerry.
We got Cal Daly as well. The dude. The Dave. What up, fellas? Have a good stream. All right. So we are now on to our number 4. All right, Corey, what are you thinking?
Okay, the hallway scene probably for mine.
Let's get that going right here.
You got Inception.
Oh, yeah.
The hallway fight scene. And I love this. It's still going back to, like we said, I'm a sucker for the whole practical thing. And when you watch behind the scenes on how they pulled those shots off, it's ridiculous the thing that they built to do that hallway fight scene. I mean, I don't know if you've seen it before, but they have these huge tunnels built and suspended, and they're all on motorized, like the whole thing is literally turning to make it look like. So I thought it worked perfect for that movie because it's so dreamlike. They're going invading people's dreams to try to unlock secrets or whatever. But they have that scene where they're doing that, and the van that they're in gets ran off the road and it's tumbling. And so in the dream, it starts taking cues from real life, in that the van's tumbling. And so when he's fighting some of these people in this hallway, everything's turning and they're doing these crazy. So they did use cables to help suspend them to go through that. But if you watch it, some behind the scenes stuff, they have this huge cylinder built that this whole hallway with doors off to other rooms actually in this. And the whole thing is rotating while they're filming it. And they did so many practice runs to choreograph the whole thing where you see the stars like with rock climbing helmets and, full gear on, like padded up so they got it down. But when they went to go do it, yeah, there was some suspension cables that helped them out, but they were just full out, just in, like in suits, fighting away in this thing. And it just made for a cool effect. And the way that they were able to get the cameras in there and to film that as it was going, it made it very dreamlike and like unreal, like how it was turning and how they felt like they were kind of weightless at points, and how they would go from walking on the floor to jumping to the ceiling. And I don't know. I always thought that was a very cool scene throughout that movie.
That's a movie I've not seen in a very long time. I only saw it in theaters when I was young. And I'm like, man, this movie hurt my brain. This was confusing.
If you don't even want to think about anything, just watch that fight scene through there and don't even care about what's going on. It just looks cool. It's like eye candy.
Oh, yeah. I mean, Nolan's movies, I can always say whether I understand them or not, they always look breathtaking and always sound great usually too. So,
but I love that when filmmakers go that you know how much more money they probably had to spend to build this huge apparatus to be able to film this one fight scene through that thing. And I love that they're willing to take that risk, to spend that extra money, to spend extra time to do something crazy like that, to be like, I want this thing to look as realistic or as dreamlike or crazy as I want it to in real life. And no, it's cool that they go to those links sometimes.
Yeah, but unfortunately, the studios are only going to do that for somebody like Nolan or somebody like Tom Cruise. Yes. We're like back in the day, because they kind of did the same kind of stunt, but on a smaller scale for the first Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Where they had the room going upside down.
Yeah, yeah. But you're right. It takes a big name for them to be like
nowadays.
Yeah.
But it just looks so much better though, and it keeps up. Like it will last decades. You do CGI, it does not look the same. 10 years later, 20 years later, you're like, what the heck is that?
Yeah,
like,
you don't notice.
Fake fire, right? Like fake fire. Oh my gosh. I was watching one of the Planet of the Apes movies. I think it was the second classic one. And they had fake fire at the beginning. Like it just looked like an overlay. I'm like, what the heck is this? It was like one of the worst things I've ever seen in a movie ever.
Yeah, man, I remember seeing Spawn in theaters when I was a little kid. I was like, it's not going to get any better than this. Then you want to Spawn now, and you're just like,
what was I thinking?
But you use
I was so naive.
I know.
Like in Backdraft, they used real fire. It looks amazing. It still looks fantastic.
That would have been a great movie to throw on here too. That's a great one.
I know,
stunts that they pulled up.
Talking about fire, I'm like,
oh gosh,
Backdraft would have been great.
I didn't even think about. There you go.
Right there.
That would have been a great one for this too.
I love Backdraft,
so yeah.
Such a good movie. That was really good.
All right, David, where are you taking this?
All right, I'm taking you to my Jackie Chan pick for my number 4 offering. So I went back to 1985 and I picked Police Story, the original. He does the scene in a mall where he jumps off the second floor and rides this string of lights down to the bottom. And Mike's looking for the picture. There it is. No wires, no nothing. He jumps off the ledge, grabs the thing, and slides down with a little bit of pyro with him. And he did that in one take. And then he rides on the front of a motorcycle in this. He's on a bus. He gets thrown from a bus. Like just some crazy, and this is 1985 Jackie Chan, when all his body parts still worked. He was doing some nutty stuff. So yeah, I had to pick Police Story as my Jackie Chan pick. But like I said, I was right with you with Rumble in the Bronx, Cody. And I had Super Cop in my hands. I had First Strike. There were so many where I was like, man, I could pick any major stunt off of here. And it would have worked for Jackie Chan, but I had to go with this one.
And does he use a wire for any of this, or no wires?
No, he just by himself.
He just does it.
Wow.
Yeah.
He's crazy.
I can't remember
when he's like. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Cody.
I can't remember what movie it was, but it's where he's falling down those things outside, and he lands on his head on the concrete. I can't remember. I thought it was Police Story, but I don't think so. But it's just oh my,
No, it was Super Cop. It was Police. Well, Cop. It's Police Story 3, but it was Super Cop, where the angle of the concrete, and he was all boop 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 boop, and he
Yeah.
fell. Yeah, and then he did it
He lands
again,
on
and he
his
got
head.
all the way top.
And
Yeah.
you're like, how
Yeah.
could they ever let him try anything again? And they do.
And they do.
But I don't think they could do movie. I don't think they could do it now today.
Nowadays,
Yeah.
no.
No.
Not for a big
He does
name.
that in Super Cop. He does that train scene
Yeah.
on a moving train. He's jumping stuff. There's a helicopter coming by. He's ducking these signs, and these signs are just clocking these guys. Like I said, there was just so many I could have picked.
That's
Yeah.
where we could just do another show of our top
We could
5
do
Jackie
Jackie
Chan stunts,
Chan.
and we all could have
And we'd all
different
have
5.
five different- I think we would.
All 5 different, yeah.
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 For sure.
All right, Cody.
All right, so I wanted to put a fire stunt in here, and this is a pretty cool scene. And when you think about the fire and how long the person was on fire for, it's pretty crazy. It's gonna be Maniac Cop 2.
Oh.
So, and this is probably
Nice.
something a lot of people haven't seen, but so basically, like this guy, he's back from the dead. He's the cop who was wrongfully accused of a crime, and he was killed in prison. So he comes back and he's just killing cops, and he's just not a good guy now. So, anyways, there's a scene where he goes back into the prison, and while he's in prison fighting, somebody catches him on fire. So he's going through this whole jail cell fighting people, grabbing people, and while he's fighting them, he's catching them on fire. It's just a crazy scene. And there's also another fire scene in Maniac Cop 3 that I was like, which one should I do? But I think Maniac Cop 2 is a little better one. But yeah, like, and then third one, he's like carrying someone through a church on fire, and that person's on fire. It's just a cool scene. But yeah, Maniac Cop 2. If you don't watch the movie, just watch that scene. It's pretty awesome.
Any fire scenes like that where they light the stuntmen on fire are nuts. When you watch the behind the scenes, how they do all those things, it's still, I mean, they're very much in danger, like through that whole thing. I mean, you might be like, well, of course, Corey, but like they do all these things to try to protect them, but there's only so much they can do. And fire is one of those things that you can't always predict. Yeah. You can't always predict what it's going to do. And so, yeah, when you have it, and especially if you said, I have not seen that movie yet, but if you said, if it's goes on for that length of time, you're just compounding the chances of something going wrong with that.
Yeah. And then like he's fighting this, he grabs this other guy who's on fire, and then they fall through a window, and then they fall through they fall through a window, out onto the street, onto a bus, like a school bus. That school bus blows up. It's like, man, there's a lot going into this. It's a really cool scene, but yeah, it's definitely one of those horror movies that not everybody has seen or even talks about, but it's a really cool stunt scene.
I just wrote it down again. So shopping list, here we come.
Yeah.
Corey spending that money.
Yeah. Right. I might have to wait.
Yeah.
No, just
because they have some cool Blue Underground releases of the Maniac Cop movies.
I did see there's a nice 4K of that, isn't there?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that fire stuff's just so dangerous. Like the heat, like they will just feel that. It has to be super hot in that. Yeah.
Well, like, even if you can throw up that picture again,
Oh,
you look like there's two people fighting in this on fire,
Yeah.
That's just it's just even the picture is cool to look at,
Well, and that's it's crazy when you watch that. They'll like just lather them up with I don't even know what it is, but like a fire retardant, like greasy stuff and things. And it's like, well, that's the best we can do. There you go.
Like, don't miss a spot. Put a
right. That's nuts.
And even then, you're even burning up. You're just so.
Oh
hot.
yeah. It doesn't stop the heat. The feeling of that from you.
And you can only have it on for so long, right? They have to time it. Like they got to put you out eventually.
Yeah, that gel will only last you for a little while.
That's like 30 seconds. I feel like.
Yeah. But I think that would feel like an eternity. If I was lit on fire like that, 30 seconds probably seem a lot longer than what you think.
Man, it's just like when you touch the stove, it's like a couple seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
It would feel like a baked potato.
Yep.
All right. So my next scene, got to go with some James Bond love right here, of course, with No Time to Die.
Yes.
This epic bike jump scene, and just over this building ledge. It's super high up in the movie, and it's just epically filmed, and you can just only imagine man, make sure that wheel gets above that spot and you land, because if you don't, whoop, you're goner. But I love those James Bond stunts. I could have picked almost any James Bond movie, and there's great stunts in all of them. But you guys James Bond fans out there?
I love James Bond.
Oh, yeah.
I grew up with it. I love it.
I say I like the Pierce Brosnan ones, and I saw the I only saw the first Daniel Craig one. I have nothing wrong with it. It was one of those things that got away from me, where it's like,
dude, Tomorrow Never Dies is my favorite.
I love that's my number one.
I love Tomorrow Never Dies.
When you in there.
So when you started talking about motorcycles and James Bond, I thought of that one because that whole him and Michelle Yeoh on that, and I thought it was so cool. Yeah, they were handcuffed on it. For whatever reason, I can always remember it's a BMW motorcycle that they're on, because when I saw it in the theater, I'm like, they make BMW motorcycles? That's so cool.
Yeah.
But they were like running across those rooftops and stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of cool.
I went and saw Madonna about a month ago in concert, and I totally forgot she did this song for Die Another Day, and I was like it brought me back, and I was like a little kid. Like, it was a weird experience. I was like, I haven't heard this song in years. It's like, man. And it was a really cool performance of her doing.
I could have brought my Swept Away copy and have her signed it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love the opening of Tomorrow Never Dies. Oh, that's a great scene.
I love James Bond. It's just very nostalgic for me though too. But there, you could probably go through a ton of those movies and come up with some great stunts to throw out, like through all the generations of it. But yeah, I know you said I think, did you say Brosnan was yours?
Yeah,
Mike, was that yours that you said?
Mine.
Yours, Cody.
Yeah,
Sorry.
sorry.
But when I first saw it, it was Roger Moore was like the first one I saw. So like, I don't know why, but maybe it was the first one, maybe it wasn't. But Moonraker is the one that I know it's cheesy and not everybody loves it, but that was the one that but you like attached to the one that you saw maybe first or really early on, and you go with it. But Bond's I'm excited to see where it goes from here, because I know they won't stop. They'll keep printing some money.
Yeah, keep spinning those out.
Aaron
Taylor Johnson. Yeah,
there you go. Craven the Hunter.
He's the new. Yeah, Craven the Hunter is the new James Bond.
I think he'll do a good job. Well. Is he British?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm really excited when there was I don't know if it was just rumors or if it was like serious or not, but and I always say his name wrong, so I feel bad. But Idris Elba.
I wanted him to play. I think he would have been a good James Bond.
He was on the short list for a while.
Oh, I think
him and Henry Cavill. Excuse me, that guy.
He would have been a good one too.
So he ended up doing this one, which Ian Fleming has a essence in this, who wrote all the James Bond books.
Yeah.
So apparently Henry Cavill's character in this movie is what James Bond is based on.
Okay. Yeah, no, he would have been cool too, but I don't know. One time I heard Elba's name like thrown out there, and I'm like, oh, he'd be pretty cool. But I don't know. We'll see where we go from here.
Going with a well-known actor, because usually it's somebody you don't know, and then James Bond makes them famous. Mm-hmm. But I guess they're like, we just need to sell movie tickets at this point. What's a hot star out there? Let's get somebody in this that can sell tickets.
Get a hot British star. We'll get Helen Mirren.
Yeah.
And be James Bond. Or Jane Bond.
All right, awesome. Let's check into these comments here. We got Dell jumping in.
Hey, Dell.
Speaking of horror, Freddy's first ever kill in the Nightmare series is a great stunt. Yeah,
we talked about that earlier. Yeah.
Yep. And a 4K coming out for it now.
Huck loves Tomorrow Never Dies as well. Michelle is Bond's equal and great stunts. She has a lot of great stunts, even just in her own movies are fantastic.
She is the female Jackie Chan. I mean, she does a lot of her own stuff that you don't like. I didn't realize, like, I think Tomorrow Never Dies was my first experience with her. And then I was like, oh, she was kind of badass in that movie, and you kind of start looking into it and you're like, oh, she's in this and this and this and this before that. And has some like martial arts chops to go with it. And it's like, I don't know.
She's amazing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's the only person who Jackie Chan was like, I'm afraid of her. Because she'll beat my ass. Yeah. She's the only one I'm not worried about. She can handle herself.
Yeah.
That was a really cool quote that that he did about her. But yeah, I've got Magnificent Warriors with her from the 70s. She was in Super Cop, was toe to toe with Jackie Chan through the whole movie. Michelle Yeoh is an amazing person.
Yep. Agree.
All right, we're moving on to our 5th round, and we still have honorables after this, so stick around, audience, here. And once again, if you haven't already, make sure you go ahead and crash into that like and subscribe if you're just joining us in. Don't forget to do that. But yes, Corey, what do we got?
Well, I can't fail us. We already been talking about Jackie Chan so much, so that's got to be my number 1 spot. We got Jackie Chan in Who Am I? I don't know if you, there you go. So that picture right there is down the side of a building in, I believe, the Netherlands, that it is not straight down, but it is as close to straight down as you could possibly get, and stories tall. And if you watch that scene, no safety cables, and he did it more than once. I think only twice, because then they're like, no, we're done. But no safety cables. And if you watch that, he jumps onto the side of that glass building and starts sliding down it. And it is such a steep angle that, like, that when you look up at it, it just looks like he's falling off a side of a building. I mean, he literally was, but he would go from his back to slide around on his stomach sliding to that scene right there. He actually goes upright and is kind of running like straight down the side of the building and then goes back down again. And it is just nuts to watch that. All practical, no safety. Sorry.
They got a drum. The gong show.
Yeah, it's so exciting. I got to get some percussion in with it. But no, I always joke, if I tie my hands together, I probably couldn't talk, like I throw my hands around so much. But
would be great.
Yep. But no, it's nuts that they let him do stuff like that, where, I mean, he's just throwing himself down the side of a building, no safety net, no safety cables, and he's just going down it. And just go out on YouTube, even if you don't want to watch the full movie, just put Jackie Chan sliding down side a building or something like that, and you'll probably come up with it. And it is ridiculous, him sliding, going from back to front to almost pedaling, like running down it, back to sliding again. And then he hits the bottom of it and is okay. And I don't know, it's ridiculous. I couldn't imagine. I don't even know what would go through his mind when he's going through. It's just like, please don't die. Please don't die.
So they didn't even have something at the bottom to catch him. Like, he literally just hit the ground.
At the bottom of that building, there's like a concrete like base to the building. He just like catches it and stands up on it. I think one of the scenes he kind of hit it. And so I think they only did it twice, because I think they tried it again and he kind of smacked the concrete a little bit, and they were just like, no, we got it. We got it, Jackie. We got it, Jackie. But no,
let's see Tom Cruise do that.
That's right.
Yeah. Tom Cruise do that.
Oh, there we go. Jackie Chan, Tom Cruise crossover. Let's make it happen. Oh, Michelle,
but if you watch it,
it'll be great.
Or Michelle Yeoh in there too. Yeah.
Yeah. But no, it's nuts. They don't have there's not like inflatable like mats there's nothing down there. They're just like, okay, here you go, bud. And it just goes down the thing. But that makes it even more over the top, I guess. But
and like nowadays we have like people who don't want to run across the street,
right.
Let alone like do anything else.
Like stairs, I gotta run up some stairs. Just
will you open this envelope for me? I might get a paper cut, He's just like, oh yeah, how many times do you want me to flip over and then run down the side of the building? And
it reminds me of Katherine Heigl not wanting to run.
And right.
She's like, I need a stunt double for this. And they're like, really?
Yep.
Michael Fassbender used to get what gave Charlize Theron crap in Prometheus because she didn't want to do push-ups.
Oh, wow.
She didn't want to do push-ups. He's like, you're so lazy. Want to do push-ups?
Then we got Jackie throwing himself off the side of a building.
We got Jackie just throwing himself into everything.
Yep.
But I guess
into his work.
But I guess when it comes to the push-ups, if they're refilming it and she's like on number 974.
Yeah, right.
No more.
I don't want to look weak when it's supposed to be my second one, but I've been doing it like 98 times before that.
All right, David, what do we got?
Okay, so this is one that whenever anybody asks for my favorite stunt, this is the one I always pick. Because this movie, although it didn't get a lot of acclaim. It has really good cast in it. It has like the largest explosion ever done in a movie, and practical explosion. Until 2015's Spectre was the one that beat it. So my pick is 1994's movie Blown Away, starring Tommy Lee Jones and Jeff Bridges. And Tommy Lee Jones is he's an artist with an IED, and he makes an explosive out of a ship in this gigantic Rube Goldberg project, that this ship just explodes, and the two guys, Forrest Whitaker's in this too. Forrest Whitaker and Jeff Bridges are running from the ship, and they dive off the dock as the thing explodes, and it's just this huge explosion. They couldn't even get close to it when they filmed it because it was so huge. So that's my pick. It was just one. They just blew this entire ship up, and it was just gigantic.
That's a great movie. That's a good movie.
Yeah, I've never seen it, but it's coming out soon, isn't it, on 4K?
I can't wait for it. As soon as I'm getting it for sure. But yeah, you can just barely see it in the picture, Mike. If you pull it up again, they're jumping off the dock into the water to get away from the explosion.
Oh my goodness!
Is it an action movie?
Action thriller.
Oh,
because basically, it's about the IRA in Ireland, where they were, setting bombs for things and doing terrorist actions and stuff like that. Jeff Bridges was a part of that group, and he left and changed his name to move to Boston and became part of the bomb squad. And then his best friend, who was Tommy Lee Jones, he gets out of prison and goes and terrorizes him and his family.
Because he's like, you betrayed us. You betrayed the cause, so I'm going to come after you.
Yeah, starts targeting the bomb squad guys and killing them off one by one with explosives.
You said that's 94?
94.
Man, I'm very up to action and thrillers and stuff like that from the 90s. So I'm really surprised I have not seen that one.
Yeah, it's first time I saw that, I was like, wow. Oh.
You were blown away by
blown away,
literally.
And just the explosions in this altogether were awesome.
So it's a movie I can blind buy, probably, correct?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a good one. I think it's a good one. Yeah.
Especially because I'm really into like 90s like thriller.
If you like that,
yeah.
You seem like a dude who loves movies, so I think you'd really like this.
Cool.
But yeah, and you like 90s movies like I do.
Mm-hmm.
So I think this was right up my alley. I think you'll really enjoy it.
Awesome. Cool.
All right, Cody, what are you thinking?
So I had two Stallone movies, and I didn't know which one I wanted to put on my list. So I'm going to go with First Blood, jumping from the cliff to the tree. If you can tell, I don't know if you can see him actually jumping, but he actually falls down the tree and he broke his ribs doing it. When you can hear him yell in the movie, and they kept it in there. He's like hitting each branch, and then you can hear him go and it's really him, and he broke his ribs.
Oh my goodness!
Yeah,
that's
another great movie.
I haven't seen that one in a while either. I need to go back and watch it.
Yeah, it's a good movie. It's a good franchise.
Yeah, first one's so different than where it.
Yeah,
not saying a bad way, but it's so different than the rest of them.
I love the later ones though. I love the action, and I like Last Blood. I'm like, it's Home Alone style now. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of Last Blood too. Actually, my favorite one's the fourth one.
Okay,
but it's great.
Yeah,
it's
I like that one. I agree.
That one has a lot of a lot of weight to that one. But yeah, like the first one, I was watching this thing. It was like an Arnold Schwarzenegger and Stallone like beef video thing that they were doing, or interview that they were doing, and he was talking about how First Blood, the first one he kills one person, and in the second one he kills 80 people. So it's like it's a different tone of movies for sure.
Yeah,
that first one just set him off. After that,
But no, that's a great one. I have that one. I gotta go watch it again now and listen for that scream or the yell. The yell.
Let him go.
I was like the Titanic falling off the boat, like
Yeah,
it's something.
Well,
it's like you can't fake that yell. That was a real pain there.
yeah.
Awesome, good choices. All right, and I got to go with this one because this one kind of inspired the stream, and David has the poster right behind. So we got to go with Fall Guy with this car rolling scene on the beach. This car, I believe, broke a world record with doing 8.5 rolls. I think it was. That's a lot of freaking rolls for a car to do, and you just see all the cameras they have filming that. Oh my goodness! But yeah, it's the Fall Guy. You got to mention the Fall Guy on a stream like this. But they had a ton of stuff in that movie. It was great.
So I take it that movie has all practical effects, I would assume, right?
I heard there was a lot of it.
There's definitely a lot.
I would say 95% for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely a movie I want to check
out. There's one scene in there that screamed kind of CGI at me, just with like the background and stuff. But as far as the stunts go, absolutely practical. And there's they set him on fire in there like a lot. And, so yeah, it's worth it just to watch the stunts and stuff that they do. And I love the end credits. If you're any type of stunt fan, I love the end credits.
Yeah. I mean, they
actually
all the different
actually show the stunt workers and doing the stuff. And so that was really cool. They paid homage to it.
Yeah, I haven't seen it yet, but that's what I heard. That this was kind of the love letter to the unsung heroes, the stuntmen that are behind the scenes doing things. And so I thought that's what I heard, that they were pulling off a lot of practical stunts on this to really showcase what these individuals go through and what they can do.
Dang.
Yeah, I wish more people saw the movie. Nobody saw it.
Yeah, I want to go see it. It's still in my theater.
Yeah. I do want to see it, but I assume I'll go tonight and it's gonna be out of theaters and on
it might be in theaters one more week.
Just have one showing this week.
Yeah, I know. Surprised if
9:45
makes it another couple weeks. Yeah,
that's the hard thing, though. No,
it's not. No,
no,
really bad.
It's just barely cracked 100 million worldwide,
and they're well over that for budget, aren't they?
Yeah, I think it's 140 for the budget. Correct me if I'm wrong there, Mike, but I think it was 100.
I think you're around that. It's gonna lose money then.
But it was last I checked, it was 103 million is where it was at, and it was dying.
Dang.
And they marketed it. They marketed that.
Yeah, there's marketed
pretty well, I thought.
But yeah, unfortunately, Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare was the same way, but they never released it internationally. It just was U.S. and Canada release.
I think and this is probably a whole nother conversation, but I think the killer thing is you get like it's hard for me to get out in time to see a movie in a theater because they are there for such a short amount of time. And then right after that, they're on a streaming service. Yeah. So
everyone is
that's what kills it.
Now.
There's been so many times where I'll see a movie on like a Tuesday and then that Friday it's on streaming. I'm like, dang. Yeah. But I would much rather
you can land it on Vudu that Friday. Yeah, it's just like.
So that's the thing. If you're in, I heard so many other people, I'm not just coming up with this because I've heard other people talking about this, but if you're like even just a couple, 2 people, or if you have a family that you're going to go, like multiply up like what you're going to have to spend. If you can get out in that like 2 to 3 week window that they're in the theater, because it's pretty quick, it seems like, before they're out of there, what you have to pay to go out to see that. And like if you wait a week or 2 more, it's going to be on something you might be subscribed to already. That's a hard thing. So like
you're washing in your underwear.
Yeah, exactly. And you can pause it if you want to go make some more popcorn or something. But then that's like in the past, you had to go see it in the theater. If you didn't see it in the theater, it was in there longer. But if you didn't see it, it's going to be like a year before you could like rent it.
Exactly. Before you get the DVD, it would take about a year or 2.
Yeah. But I like that because you would get it'd be a whole nother release when it's coming out on home video. You know, you would be like, hey man, if you're not
you want to buy it day of.
Especially with like a holiday movie, especially like say it's Home Alone. It's like this movie's not gonna come out till another holiday, so you better go see it now.
So I think that helped the numbers because like, well, if I have any chance of wanting to see this in the next year or 2, I gotta get out to the theater and see the thing. And now it's just like, oh, if I wait 1 or 2 more weeks, I can just see it on Paramount Plus or Netflix or whatever, or
there's an interview with Matt Damon who talks about that. They're missing that revenue because it's too fast, too quick.
I know they're like, it's not doing well, so let's shove it on streaming. But then it's like, well, it's not doing well because you're shoving everything on streaming.
I know.
You created the vicious cycle.
Yeah. And they're so afraid of having that movie go any longer and cross another film. So like, the Fall Guy, they're like, we better get it out of the theater because Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is out, and that's going to kill all our money anyway. So why have it in there?
Yeah, and something like Planet of the Apes that will stay in for a month. Something that's making money. But
yeah, and I'd go there. I'd go there and see like this movie anyway instead of seeing Planet of the Apes right when it opens. But like Corey said, you gotta play it exactly right, or else you're gonna miss your chance. I wanted to see Boy Kills World.
I want to see that one too.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah,
it was
that movie was great, by the way. But I saw it. I saw it the weekend it came out.
Did that just come out?
It just
came out. But they only give them like 2 weeks. It feels like
it didn't even last. Yeah, the first week they had like
some theaters might still have it, but
4 showings, and then the second week it had 1 showing at 9:45 at night, and I turn into a pumpkin. I can't watch that. I got to drive an hour to get there.
Yeah.
And then watch the movie an hour to get back. And I'm like, no way.
I'm not that far, but I'm a decent drive to the theaters I go to. But that was the same thing with, I actually did end up getting to go out and see Late Night with the Devil, which I was glad to see that in the theater. But that was one that had no publicity. The only reason I knew about it was people like you all that I'm looking at right now on YouTube talking about it. And all of a sudden, you know what I mean? But no, I mean, like, it's like I heard people like you talking about it on YouTube, and like that's the only way I heard about it. And I'm like, oh, that sounds cool. I want to go see it. I pull up my theater, and I'm like, oh, it came out a week ago, and there's only 2 more nights of showings of that. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to a Monday night at 9:30 to see the thing. Yeah. And I was the only person in the theater.
With all the movies that I see, I still didn't even. It was way too short.
It was quick. It was quick.
Because it came out when I think 2 or 3 other movies came out that week as well. I'm like, I got to pick. I can't see 4 movies in a week.
But it turned around and it was on Shudder right away, So I guess if you got Shudder, you can watch it. Anyway, that was my rant. Sorry.
I love it. I love the rants. It's important. We got to talk about this stuff.
Yeah. It's just, it's hard. It's hard how busy you are. If you only have a 2-week window, by the time you hear about the movie, it might even be like a week into its run. And then you're just like, okay, can I get out to see it in time? And
all right, let's head into our honorable stunt scenes. Got some good honorables. I know Corey came super prepared with all the honorables. Just joking. I'll skip past you, Corey.
Sorry.
Let me know.
I can come up with something.
David got some honorables for sure.
I got some honorables that I gave you, and the first one I wanted to talk about, and Harrison from Really Old Movies is going to love me for this, but it's Steamboat Bill Jr. from 1928. Buster Keaton does this stunt where this house falls on him, and he walks forward right when the window gets to him. So I wanted to call that out because that's one stunt that I always remembered. And then the next one is also from 1994. It's True Lies. I went with Schwarzenegger and the stunt with Jamie Lee Curtis coming out of the limo because she wanted to do that herself. She goes, I want to do this stunt. So that is actually her hanging in the air from the helicopter. I mean, there's cables and stuff, but she's actually doing that stunt. One of my favorite things of all time. Now, this is practical, kind of meets a virtual stunt. And this is the original Die Hard from 1988 with Hans Gruber falling off the building. This, he had a mat underneath him. It was green screened. But then there's this full on stunt where this dude is falling like 80 stories and you're seeing the whole thing. And the guys, everybody's just watching him just fall. And it was just a crazy stunt. And then I'll close it out with the original Triple X from 2002, Vin Diesel. And he starts that movie off jumping from a bridge in a car, and he parachutes off the car. And that was a senator's car that he was destroying on purpose to set his character development. So how are we going to do that with a guy who does extreme sports? We're going to do an extreme stunt and make him do this himself. So he jumps off the the car and does the stuff. So yeah, I had to mention that. So those are my my honorable
that
mentions.
wasn't Vin Diesel that did it, did he?
Vin Diesel, he did part of it, but the actual with the parachute, no. Okay. But he was on the back of the car when the car went over, and then he just had a cable that he just came off and hung off. But then they actually had a guy, which is why they showed it from the back with the pictures that I showed. That was actually a stunt guy that actually did the parachute drop, I believe.
Okay.
Good choices. I mean, all of those I'm like, excellent. All right, Cody.
All right, so my number one honorable mention is gonna be Megan. So the reason why, so especially during this crawl scene, I thought it was CGI'd, but it's this 10-year-old girl that gets down and she's running and she's doing all of her own stunts. A 10-year-old, again, these kids doing these stunts. And nowadays, like I had like this real fun not experience, but like I have this, like I have an appreciation for like someone like her who played Megan. Like even when she did the flip in the hall, the dance and the flip in the hallway, it was this little girl who did it because I met her in real life and she did it for us in real life. If you guys want to see, I have a short on my YouTube of her doing it in real life. And it's just like, I just thought it was like either CGI or some like adult doing it, but it was this little girl doing it this whole time. Even at the end of the movie, when she's fighting the big robot thing, it's her strapped up fighting it. It's like, I think it's cool that they actually let this a real person do all that and this kid do it. And it's crazy that this kid's capable of doing something like that. I think she's gonna have a big career. But yeah, especially that crawling scene. When you see it when you watch the movie or when you watch the trailer, it's in the trailer. It looks CGI, but it's really her doing it. She had to do it over and over again. And they kept apologizing to her. So I can do it all day. It's like, okay, we need people like that in Hollywood, So I'm very excited, I get very excited talking about stunts with that movie. And I know people like you wouldn't think of Stunts and Megan and put that together, but I really enjoyed that. And then my number two is going to be Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 1990, the brawl at April's apartment. So I know it's not a very clear picture, but you see Raphael there. But you got to understand, he's like, these turtles are doing these crazy fight scenes inside these suits. And, these suits weigh 100 pounds. You can't see, you can't breathe. You're just hot and sweaty. So I really wanted to spotlight the workers inside of those suits, because that was a lot of work for people to do, and you don't quite understand that. Now we get the CGI stuff or the motion cab, and it's just not the same. I wish they would go back to that, or at least give us one more TMNT movie like that, And then we have the Expendables. It's going to be Stallone versus Stone Cold. So during this scene, Stone Cold throws him against the wall and breaks his neck in real life. So,
oh really?
They went on and on fighting. Yeah, and there's also a part in the movie where what's his name gets cut, like either under his eye or his elbow, Stone Cold, and they had to stop and fix it. He was like, well, why are we stopping? We just go, because he's used to wrestling where you just keep going. They're like, no continuity. So they had to explain it to him. There's my favorite documentary of all time is called Inferno, the making of the Expendables. And it's 3-hour-long documentary, and it follows Stallone writing, directing, and editing the first Expendables movie. And my God, I saw that when I went to film school, and it blew my mind. And he became my favorite filmmaker. He became my favorite actor after I know that's crazy to say Stallone is somebody's favorite actor, but I got so much respect for him watching that documentary. And usually you can get that documentary if you buy the first Expendables. It's usually on like a second disc or something. I know it was on the new 4K that came out, but it's called the Expendable, or it's called Inferno, the making of the Expendables, and it's a great documentary. So if you have, a lot of people don't even know that they own it. So
I gotta check. I just bought this used not too long ago. So it's the first four. I gotta see if it's on there.
Yeah. So if there's it's called the Inferno, the making of the Expendables. It should be for the first movie. And then my last
on there, I figured out what I'm watching for tonight.
Yeah,
sorry.
It's awesome. No. And then my last one's gonna be Fast 7, when they do the cars coming out, because they actually did it. they film these cars coming out on things. And I had a friend that worked on that. His dad is actually a stunt coordinator. His name's Andy Gill, and he did those scenes. So it's pretty cool to hear about how they did it. I went to school with him, film school with his son, and he was just working at he actually did the Good Son stunt scenes too back in the 90s. But he was telling me like he was one of those guys who wanted to live a normal life during the school year. So he was there. He's like, yeah, man, I really want to be a bistro at like at a at like a Starbucks. And then like on the weekends, he's out dropping cars during Fast 7. And it's like, what a crazy life this guy lives. And he just wants to be a bistro or whatever during the week. It was pretty cool. And hearing how they did that. They also, I heard some not cool stories, but some stories about working with Michael Bay and Ben Stiller. I guess they are the two worst people to work with in Hollywood.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I heard some horror stories about those two, but I learned a lot of cool stuff about stunts during that time period. But it's a really cool things. I really love stunts, and especially these practical stunts.
Yeah, I mean that's wild. Like I didn't even know that's a real car right there. Like what did they do? Did they have it on cables? Did they catch the car? Did it just fall somewhere?
They had them on. They had what is it called? They had parachutes.
Oh yeah,
there we go. That's still wild.
They had parachutes, yeah, and he was showing me pictures of them landing in like on the beach. So they're like getting stuck inside the beach and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Clear off a couple mile radius. So like everybody get off the beach.
Don't get hit by a car falling.
Yeah. And my friend's dad, he specialized in car stunts, so he was very.
Nice.
He would, and it's cool because like all throughout his career, he would take the Matchbox cars and he'd have them out. Like that's how he did it from day one to day on.
So now I got the Megan shirt that you're wearing tonight because you threw Megan out there. So not to cheat and go off of you, but like that same thing that you're talking about on Megan, that whole run there, I had that same feeling with Cobweb.
I was thinking the same thing. I'm like that person that does the Cobweb movie.
I thought that was CGI or something, and it was the lady was actually doing it. She was a contortionist, and she could like bend her arms and legs and all kinds of. Have you seen that, Cody?
I haven't, but I heard it's really good.
Oh, you should see that.
Good. It's really good.
It's so if you enjoyed watching, and I'm not saying one's better than the other, but if you enjoyed watching that Megan, that scene that you described there, you will enjoy what the lady does in Cobweb. And it's for real. Like I guess she can, and they showed behind the scenes stuff, and she's going in directions that you're just like, how can you do that?
How is that possible?
I sleep on my pillow wrong and my neck's wrong for a week, Yeah,
I know.
They're like twisting everything all over the place. And
oh man, I hate that. Wake up with a sore neck. I'm like, driving's gonna be a pain in the ass for the next 2 days.
Yeah, guess I'm not looking left for a week.
Hope I make it.
All right, I have a few honorables here. I had to mention the Punisher. You just got to have it. Fire, this explosion scene right here. There's also another good one in this Punisher movie with the propane tank and the shotgun, and they explode and get set back with the fire on them. Yeah. So I had to mention that.
And then he stabs
Yeah,
Kevin Nash for real. Well, he stabs Kevin Nash for real in the chest, like when he does.
Kevin Nash
really? The big Russian. Yeah, he actually stabs him in the chest. And he's like,
"Oh my
yeah."
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I'm actually somebody who loves that Punisher movie. Like,
I love that Punisher movie.
So, a lot of people give it crap, especially now.
Oh my gosh, it's amazing! I love it.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I love John Travolta as the villain. It's just everything works for me in that movie.
The cars at the end with the fire skull.
Yeah.
So, and then of course you got to have the Matrix in there.
Oh yeah.
You just got to mention it when you're talking stunts. So there you go. And then we already mentioned Fast Furious 7 here, jumping from the building. That's amazing how they actually use real cars jumping from building. Oh my gosh. At first, when you see it, you're like, no way this is real. This has to be fake. This cannot be a real car. But they actually use real car.
Yeah, it's on that.
Nice. The making is on the steelbook.
I got to look at mine. I couldn't read it. It's too small print for me.
Yeah.
That's what I hope
it's a great one. Yeah.
It's too small a print. I'm too old to read the back of it. I gotta throw it in the clear.
Get my magnifying glass. That's why I was off screen.
I get my phone with my flashlight on. And
I can't tell
like,
what it says.
Man, it's like Stallone has to work against, like, he has shingles. He has to work against the weather. He has to work against a crew that doesn't speak English. It's crazy, man. It's such.
Well, yeah. Talk about somebody who injures himself a lot on set. Stallone is huge with that. I mean, in Rocky, he was trying out actors to play Clubber Lang. Is Joe Frazier punch him once and he's in the hospital for 3 days? And Dolph Lundgren knocked him into next week. When they first
woke up in the hospital.
He woke up in the hospital. What happened? Well, he's a big dude.
He's like, you lost that one, Sly. You lost that one.
You got counted out on that one. But
definitely.
Jackie Chan, Stallone, he gets in there and he gets hurt too, and he keeps on going.
Yeah, and that whole him breaking his neck thing, like they show it in there, but like now, like when you watch, he has a reality show with his kids. He talks about how that scene there is like that's what did him in. Like he's never been the same since that scene.
Yeah,
I can imagine. Breaking your neck.
Yeah, he did. Yeah. There was a thing with Jackie Chan. Speaking of which, where he actually he and his daughter were sitting in a room watching his stunts, and his daughter's just crying.
Yeah.
Did you see this? I was like, oh man, because she was like, you were amazing, and she was really happy. And then she was seeing all the times he was getting hurt and all the stuff that he was doing, and she was like, just crying. She's like, I can't believe you did all this.
Not to go off on a tangent. Yeah. Oh, probably. I would assume
she was crying.
Yeah.
He was like, oh, I remember that. That hurt a lot.
Yeah, it's such a great clip. They're like watching it like outside of like their barn.
Yeah, they're outside like the little fence or something, and there's a screen out there, and they're watching it. It was a neat little skit, but it was kind of crazy watching that.
So I know he was getting older and didn't do quite as much, but he still did stuff in it. But I really like him in The Foreigner. Have you ever seen that?
Oh,
I like
Foreigner's
good. Foreigner. That was good.
So that's a later one for him.
Movie,
yeah.
Was it his first radar movie? Yeah.
I think so.
Pierce Brosnan is in that too, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. I thought that was really good. But you can see he was aging there, but he still did quite a bit of stuff. But I think they were talking him off of. There were some things that was far enough along that they were telling him no for a few things.
Yeah.
So.
All right, we got a couple people in the chat here saying a few amazing things. We got Dell saying, by the fourth movie, Rambo killed everyone. Pretty sure a bullet flew through my living room when I watched it.
Yeah, that fourth one, you see people getting cut in half with that, with the guns and stuff. That was crazy.
Dude, that fourth one, my whole mouth, I was like just watching it. I was just like and there's some bad stuff that happens in that movie, but they all get what they deserve. So I really liked it.
Those are some of those where they never reload. They just keep on shooting, Yeah. It's like how many bullets flew. We don't need to count get a count of bullets there.
Yeah.
Got Mel in here saying, hey, cool kids.
What's up, Mel?
Kill a Mel.
All right. So I'll give everybody a chance to kind of go around, say if they got any upcoming projects for the audience and where to find you, of course. Corey, what do we got going on?
Later this week, Thursday, I have some people kind of newer to they're on Instagram. They're not out in the YouTube market yet, but they're testing it out. But they're some good friends of Tim. Tim Talks Talkies. So we got Jess and Warren that are a couple good friends of them that I got to meet. That I'm going to have them on my channel Thursday, and I thought it'd be kind of a cool thing. They're on Instagram. Jess is really into books, and Warren is really into vinyl, and I thought. And they like movies too. So I was like, how about we kind of mix this up and kind of we might do a little bit of a, if this, then that, like if you like this movie, you should check the book out that's based on it. It's even better. Or if you like that movie, man, this killer soundtrack, you should check this out. So I'm going to hang out with them a little bit and talk about that. I think next week I'm going to be on Bob's channel, for, a game show and, on the 21st. And then I'm going to have one of the first people that had me like legit on their channel before, not that anybody knows who I am now, but like even lesser known. I'm going to be on. I'm going to have KB on my channel. So KB loves movies. I'm going to have him on to do a movie club, and so I'm really looking forward to that because he was like one of those dudes that I still remember to this day him reaching out and be like, "Hey, do you want to come on the conversation with me?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah!" But I'm like, I'm not bringing anything to the table. You're not going to get anything out of this. And he was like, I'm not doing it for that. And he was like one of the first ones that kind of went out there like that. And a lot of you, I've had that same feeling from too. So not taking anything away from that, but you always have that first one that you kind of remember, but then it's just cool that like each one of you too, that I've had interactions with, or I'm like, I'm not bringing anything to the table. You're not going to like, you're not going to get any like more subs because of me coming on your channel, but you're like, I don't care. I just want to talk and hang out and talk movies. So just, I don't know. I'm rambling at this point, but it's just how cool the community is. And I love the idea of like having him on my channel, and be like, oh dude, I get to have KB on now. So full circle.
That's cool. Corey, Corey, you're a legend now. Your milkshake brings all the subscribers to the yard. So.
That's right.
Yeah, right.
Bring all the subscribers to the stream yard.
I appreciate the thought, but I don't think that's quite the case.
No, dude, you saved me. I gotta put this out. So The Crow is in my number 5. It's in my top 5 favorite movies of all time. And me, like an idiot, wasted time and didn't buy it, and it sold out. And I was like, oh my gosh, I was freaking out. And Corey had an extra copy, and he, thank you so much.
Oh, no problem, man. I mean, I love that you are excited to have it in, and I just enjoy it. Yeah, have fun with it.
Yeah, I almost quit YouTube because I forgot,
I don't have
never see me again.
There's something wrong with me now. I don't know,
dude. I felt like an idiot. I was like, what the hell?
I was so scared, Cody, because I was like, did I order that? I don't know if I got the Crow. I don't know if I ordered it or what's going on. I was looking through all my stuff. I couldn't find that it was in my previous orders. Came in the mail. I was like, oh crap, I did order it. Phew.
I wasn't trying to stockpile them, honestly, but when that came out, I have such nostalgia for that movie. I went out with my friends so many times in the theater to see that. Oh, that's awesome. And I just was like, I started pre-ordering it, and I forgot where all I pre-ordered it from, and I didn't cancel them all. And so when I had that extra one, I was just like, anybody need this before? Because I can just return it, I was just going to return it.
And I'm glad I saw it before someone else.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I'm glad that makes me happy. Yeah, open it up, enjoy it, watch it, have fun with it.
I definitely will. And it was like, there's 95% chance that it's gonna be reprinted and it's gonna come back in stock. But I wanted to have it sooner rather than later. Yeah, and because me as a kid, I had a Crow themed room. So like even my my bed sheets were like the Crow, and like the pillowcases were him at Shelley's grave. So it's like,
oh wow.
Yeah,
I'm like, oh my god, I had Pokemon.
No, I was hanging out with
mine was in the 90s. Mine were like cheap forest green ones from Walmart or something, or whatever the color was popular at the time. But I didn't have any cool like that, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I think my grandma went to Hot Topic and got
nice
the crow stuff. Yeah, it's cool times. I mean, I was an older kid at that time, but still, because before I had Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. But
we don't need to go into ages because I think I was heading to college at that time.
Me too. I was expecting my first grandkid. And...
I wasn't quite there. But no, that was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead. I'm done.
Oh no, go for it, Corey.
No, I was just gonna. Quick. That's the second most I've seen a movie in the theater ever was that movie.
That's crazy.
I always hit on that. That was way before streaming, and they had way more movie theaters around us, at least around us at that time. And you had your first run theaters that got the new ones in. And when it went out of there was the older second run theaters that it would go into, and they'd have the cheaper ticket prices, and they would have dollar nights where you could go and they'd run them there forever. And there was so many times where buddies and I would be like, we're going to go out for the night and be like, hey, for $1, let's go watch Crow for a little bit and then head out, And so I have this ranking. I know the first top few of them, but that's the second most I've seen in that title in a theater. But
that's awesome. And that's back when Friday nights you go to the movies, it'd be sold out.
Oh yeah, it's packed.
Yeah, man. Some good times.
Then go
Not anymore.
then go to Applebee's and get some chicken fingers or something.
Yeah. It's funny because we just had our last dollar theater closed down. And it's funny because it's right next to it's right next to an Applebee's, but yeah, it just closed down during the pandemic, so it's just kind of like I feel like it was like the last one around.
We had a ton. That's what's sad. I hate that. Sorry, I know I'm babbling more, but I have like 2 good theaters around me now, like, and they're both drives in 2 different directions. But there used to be so many. They weren't the greatest, fanciest ones, but man, I didn't care when you could pay like $1 to $5 to go see a movie or something. But
yeah.
Okay, Mike, I'm shutting up.
Yeah, we went off.
Hey, David, take it away.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm just glad we're not thinking about Corey's milkshake. But
I am,
and it's now back. I can't get that out of my. I mean, you can't unsee that. It's gone. It's imprinted forever.
I'm thinking of new merch ideas.
I've got a 7th shirt on the rise. It's a my milkshake. Okay.
Mike's like, this is the last time I ever invite any of you
Never
on
invite
my
you
channel.
Now for me, of course, I have my stuff, which is the 4K Lowdown. You can find it on YouTube and Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and Letterboxd. But for the Faces for Radio podcast, which we run live shows on Wednesday nights, we're doing let's see, what's our lineup? We're doing Late Night with the Devil, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Wages of Fear, which is on Netflix, Low Lifes, which is a Tubi original, Tarot, which is also in the theater, and by vote from the people in the chat last week, we voted for our 6th movie, and the winner was Mean Girls. So we're gonna do Mean Girls 2024 with all the rest of that stuff. But basically, what we do is Rich Turner Fan 77 and I we come in, we score these movies, and then we rank them from 5, or in this case 6 to 1 during the show. Get comments from the chat. We love to have guests that want to be on the show. The only requirement is that you have to watch all the movies in the lineup, and you score them in our fancy dancy scoring system. But we do our lives Wednesday night, and then movies at 5 is on Friday nights at 5 p.m. where we talk about movie news and celebrity deaths and new releases and trailers and things like that.
I can't wait for you to talk some Mean Girls.
I was just gonna say,
I know musicals are your specialty right there. I'm like, I love the movie, but I know that's not David's cup of tea.
Man, my ovaries hurt when I watch that movie.
It's Mike's favorite movie of the year.
That movie was so good. I freaking want to see that one again.
I have a feeling this will not be David's favorite movie of the year.
Mean Girls was great. Oh my gosh.
The original one's great, but I don't know. I haven't seen the new one.
Oh, so
I enjoyed the original. I mean, I didn't love the original, but at least that one didn't have a whole lot of singing. This has a whole lot of singing.
Yeah, it is literally the original, but everything's sung.
It's literally because I think there's
exactly
Mean Girls musical, right? And I think this is based on the musical. Yeah. I mean, otherwise, this is a carbon copy of the original movie. But
so to be in spirit of that, you and Rich are going to sing your whole live stream.
We are. We're gonna.
Okay, cool.
We're gonna sing the whole live stream. No, I have a burn book which I'm going to show, and it's all stuff about Rich that I have in there. But and then he's got a burn book that's all about my stuff. But
and and what day do you guys do these streams on?
Wednesday nights.
So you wearing pink?
I might wear pink. I don't know if
on Wednesdays we wear pink.
Okay. Yep. On Wednesdays we wear pink. So.
Oh, is that okay? See, I haven't seen the movie, so
that's a quote from the movie.
Okay,
that's a quote from the movie.
Okay,
that's a quote from my real life.
But but Mike, I'm gonna tell you there were actually a couple of songs that I enjoyed in the movie, but they were more band-ish and not singing the dialogue. They were more like done in a different way, not as part of the thing, but actually part of the background or something else going on. So those are okay. Like, Bohemian Rhapsody and things like that. I like the music, how the music goes in those. But when you start singing the dialogue, I just have an aversion to that. I just can't stand those types of movies. Check out on Wednesday if this will be the same thing.
All right. Dude, where can people find you?
You can find me at Doodoo Loves Movies on Instagram and YouTube. That's one word, Doodoo Loves Movies. I'm going to be on Davey Deathray's channel on Wednesday. He's doing a new thing called Late Night with the Davey, and it's going to be like he's going to try to do a late night talk show. So he's going to have like different guests on. He has a musical guest, so it'll be interesting to see how it does. This is his first episode doing it. He's been on YouTube for about a year, so it'll be interesting how it all works and plays out. I'll be on there with Fachi Cinema, and I can't remember the band that's going to be on there. But yeah, it should be fun. That's going to be on Davey Deathray's channel on Wednesday at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So that's like 8 o'clock our time or something, or 8 o'clock our time. Sorry, you guys don't live where I live, but that's like that's 7 o'clock my time. And then on Friday, I'm gonna have some birthdays. It's gonna be a birthday stream watch along. It's gonna be me, Born to Be Rad, and Justin from the Dead Couch. We're going to be on over Movie Misfits. We're going to be doing a watch along of the Goonies, and it's Chris's birthday from Movie Misfits, so we're going to be hanging out with him on Friday. And I should be having a video dropping soon. It's probably going to be orphan related.
Oh, awesome. Man,
Nice.
you guys have so many great upcoming projects and everything. I'm excited for this. Audience out there, everybody's links are in the description below, so definitely check out their channel, show them some love with that, and watch the content. Don't just click the subscribe, but actually watch the content because it's great stuff out there. For my channel, you guys know me, but I'll point you to a couple things. The video that dropped today were my Amazon deals, of course. And speaking of great stunts and movies, Waterworld Arrow 4K on sale. That's a great addition. If you don't have that one, I highly recommend it. That's a fantastic movie with great stunts in it. And then next live stream for the Collectors Club is coming up on Derek's channel. We are all May Memorial theme right there. So that is definitely going to be a super fun Collectors Club stream. So check that out on Derek's channel. But there we go. I think that's it for tonight. So everybody have a great night out there. And just a little shout out to my members. And yeah, have a good one, everyone. And thank you so much, my Mega membership supporters. If you love talking and collecting movies, consider joining the Mega League of Film Fans through memberships to support content creation while gaining access to perks like shoutouts, exclusive videos, and future topic choices.